when you came here. No, I was about 175 pounds is all.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. We're starting. We're on TV this time. That's why we took a little bit of extra time. Want to welcome everybody to our annual media days. Get a chance to listen to the coaches about their upcoming season. And at the conclusion of the coaches' eye, we'll give you the new coaches poll. Hi, Dick. So without any further ado, turn this over to the commissioner, Ken Paulson.
Thank you, Wally. Great to see everyone again. Welcome to the 2017-2018 Frontier Conference sports year. We really look forward to kicking things off here in Great Falls, and I want to certainly thank the press for coming today, welcome you. Also want to commend our sports information directors from throughout our conference, as well as two members from the Cascade Collegiate Conference that have come over, and they've been working diligently all day since 8 o'clock this morning and are going to continue to work after the media day. It's always a great pleasure, as I've said before, to have our fall meetings. I look so forward to meeting with our football coaches. You know, it goes without saying, I say it every year when we're up here, that this is a terrific group of young men that they bring to us every year in the form of our student athletes. Terrific coaches, great institutions, and a very, very competitive league. The parity is second to none. We always do so well in the postseason. We had some things last year in our season that we've grown accustomed to. We had two of our schools move on and go deep into the playoffs. I want to congratulate Coach Chuck Morrell and the Orediggers from Montana Tech. Coach Morrell, like all of our coaches, is not one to make excuses. But any of us that have been around sports, any of us that have been around football, know that when you lose your quarterback and you lose your All-American running back, things, probably the game plan changes. And I just want to commend them for going out and being very representative of our league and doing battle. And we know that they would have gone further had it not been for some unfortunate injuries. Tim Camp and the Eastern Oregon University Mounties, you did us proud. Tim has been working at building that program, and last year it all came together, going out to Marion, who we all know in the NAI football world is usually sitting in the one spot, going out to Indianapolis and beating them on their home field when they were then ranked number one, shutting them out 21-0 to get into the national semifinals. A whisker away from playing in the championship, and it's just been a great ride to see for all of us what Frontier Conference sports mean and certainly what football means. We all are missing today Coach Craig Howard in our coaches meeting. Charlie Hall, who you will hear from in a short while. Charlie's going to do a great job in furthering the mission that Coach Craig Howard laid at Southern Oregon University. And I know Craig is looking down from above, and he would be very upset with me if I didn't mention that the Frontier Conference is indeed the SEC of the NAIA. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to the folks that are going to tell you about the upcoming year. And I'll always finish by telling you how proud I am to be associated with this great conference, the Frontier Conference. So with that, we're just going to go right down the line like we always do. And Mike, would you lead us off? And then each coach is taken from your left to right.
I'm Mike Morosky from the College of Idaho, and so proud to be part of the Frontier Conference and everything that it has going. It's certainly, and I'm growing in appreciation for just the quality of coaches and the quality of football and the quality of people in the conference.
My hope is always that college football will make a difference in the world, and I think it is in Caldwell, Idaho, and the whole Treasure Valley, in the Boise Valley there, and it's something that I take really seriously. But the real litmus test is, how do your guys do out in public? And so I couldn't be happier with our guys, what they have done, what they are doing, and what they will do as they work in town, do internships in town, and really do make an impact in the community. And I think that's a lot of fun for me. College of Idaho is a great institution, so they're very occupied academically, but we're very serious about athletics too, and looking forward to this season. Last year, I know I commented on two players, and I'll comment on two of those guys, and one's a good story, and one's at least a bittersweet story for me. That story is Marcus Lenhart, our all-league tight end, the last 3 years has decided not to play his last year of eligibility, which leaves a huge hole. Marcus graduated 3.6 GPA and is getting married next spring, I believe, and I'm not used to losing arguments like that, or I kind of pride myself in being influential in young men's lives, and I didn't quite influence Marcus in the right direction for this one. We're really gonna miss him. I'm sure the coaches, I appreciated how much respect many of the coaches up here had for Marcus. He was a great player, great competitor. Caught me a little bit by surprise that he wouldn't play his final year of eligibility. The good story is Nate Moore, who I introduced as one of our graduating seniors last year, will be back. As many of you know, he redshirted at Carroll his first year, and then came back to College of Idaho, had a good experience at Carroll, and came back to College of Idaho in the 0 year, so effectively redshirted those 2 years, so he has a 4th year of eligibility. Nate did not get into medical school, which he will someday, so it opened the opportunity for him to be back, and he's a real team leader and a national quality human being, along with being just a great football player and a great person in our program. There was one article that appeared in our local paper about our quarterback situation. Last year we platooned quarterbacks, Tyler Cox from Boise High School, and Darius Peterson from my hometown, actually, in California, Novato, California, Marin Catholic High School. But really that was out of necessity. So I'm not a platoon guy. I am a quarterback by trade. And so we'll have a competition for sure. And actually another young man, Connor Richardson from Nevada, had a great spring game. And so we'll have a competition and decide who's going to be the quarterback. But I think that's always going to be a key. Where I'm coaching, everything runs through the quarterback. We rely on him to be a real leader, rely on him to do so many things and be a part of our whole program and what we're all about. Defensively, we think we'll have our strongest defense that we've had since I've been there. And anchored by Josh Price at defensive tackle, from Bora High School in Boise. Great young man, has just grown leaps and bounds as a person, as a player, as a human being, does all sorts of community service. Just a great guy. We're thrilled to have Josh back. Also a young man from Auburn High School in Washington, Demetrius Tao, will play both defensive tackle and defensive end. Troy Carr will anchor our linebacking crew. He started for parts of this will be his 4th season in and out of the lineup, but very, very good player from the Coeur d'Alene area, and thrilled to have Troy back. And then Forrest Rivers played a bunch as a freshman last year, very, very good football player from the great Centennial High School in Corona. And so we're looking forward to great things from Forrest. And defensive backs, it'll be Nate Moore. We'll probably play some corner that he's played before, but will likely start at free safety. And then Malik Whitfield had a very, very coming out party, as it were, last year, and really had a good year playing our field corner. Offensively, our offensive line's anchored by a 4-year starter, Sam Zaverzides from Tumwater, Washington. And Andrew Galloway will start at right guard, and he's been a 4-year starter as well. So we have a lot of experience on our offensive front as well. So both of the defensive front and offensive front. We like where we are experience-wise and feel good with those guys. Tight end, of course, we're reloading. We don't know what we're going to do. And I coach the tight ends up to this point, and I'm still trying to shuffle that one off to somebody else on the staff. But we think we have some good recruits. We are just have a lot to do at that position. The offense does a lot with the tight ends and multiple tight end sets. I just like that sort of thing in the offense, and so we'll continue to do that, but that'll be a little dependent on how the guys come along and how they're coached and all that sort of thing. Running backs have some good experience there too. Mike Kirby had a good year for us last year. Zach Garzoli's back for his 4th year. Receivers, Shane Robinson had a good year, and then we do have some good young players that we're trying to develop at those positions, and we're very excited about the season. Again, people of Caldwell are very excited to see the other teams come into town. I think it's a great place to play, and I couldn't be prouder to represent Caldwell, College of Idaho, and be in the Frontier Conference. Really looking forward to the season. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Dies from Carroll College. Just to kind of talk about what Kent Paulson was alluding to earlier, this group of guys up here, I came in, and I know Kent said young guys, he wasn't looking down my ear when he said that, but I came in 1999, and of course I followed the great Coach Bob Petrino, but there was Bob Green, and a couple years later there was guys like Tommy Lee and then Coach Howard. And when I look up here, these guys are lifers, and I mean that in a most sincere way, because I don't know that was always the case when I looked around the Frontier Conference when I first came in. These are the guys that coach. And these guys are ball coaches. They've been in a lot of different places. They've got a lot of successes. And they coach for all the right reasons. And I think that's what makes the Frontier Conference so special, because we're around guys that are the superstars of their profession. And to coach week in and week out against this crew, you better tape your ankles and bring your A game, because that's what you have to do as coaches and the type of players that they recruit. Blessed to be at Carroll, and with Nick Howard as offensive coordinator here, Alex Casson, our D-line coach, and Derek Wolcott, our SID, here's representing Carroll as well. Starting off, I think we drew up on the board the other day the quarterbacks that we've had to play with at Carroll College since we've been there, whether it's J.D. Emmert, Tyler Emmert, John Barnett, Gary Wagner, whoever it is. We've got a great core of quarterbacks. And just like the NFL, I think this is a quarterback-driven league. You look at the 2 teams that went to the playoffs last year, and their quarterbacks are outstanding. I mean, they were big time. They were leaders. They made a difference on the field, and they put a lot of pressure on the defense. We feel very good about Tanner Gustafson. He's not a household name. He's been biding his time. He's out of Boise, Idaho, and they did a great job recruiting him a few years back. And it's his turn, but he was able to get into games, probably 5 games last year, with a lot of success because of injuries that we had J.T. Linder. But when we had Tanner on the field, we just were a different team at times. He's a little bit more mobile than we've had. He can throw the ball. He's very accurate. And I really think this year, looking over our receiving core with the tight ends and receivers, the best group of receivers we've had as a group. And it's led by Connor Phone, who was a first-team all-conference. And that he just did some amazing things for us last year as a sophomore. And you have Troy Arnston and Paul Hart and Joe Ferris, 3 other guys that are Letterman, and that really shores up that. Probably a guy that's going to be a big plus for us is right out of here in Great Falls, Eric Dawson. I see him Russell High School. Made a name for himself in 2014. I was the head coach, and I made him a linebacker, and he did extremely well. And then we decided that he was a great tight end. And last year he took a medical red shirt. He'll be back for his junior year, and that really helps with him and Connor McGree at the tight end spot. But in order for those guys to be successful, the guys up front have to do a great job. And we're blessed to have Joel Kramer back as a starting center for the 2nd year. Chris Empter is going to his 4th year as a starter. Was all-conference player last year. Willie Clements was a starter last year and a part-time starter 2 years ago. And that really helps. And one of the key things I think we did this spring is we took a young guy from Hermiston, Oregon by the name of David Barnett, who had an amazing year for us not in the defensive line. And we moved him to the left offensive tackle spot. Now, he has to prove it on Saturday against all the speed rushers, but he's 6'3.5". He's 280 pounds now, worked extremely hard. He's a talented player athletically, and we just needed some we needed a veteran over there, and a lot of our young guys are still learning that position, so I think that's going to be a real plus. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to see how he does here in a week or so when we start two-a-day practices. Running back Ryan Walsh had a great sophomore year 2 years ago, up and down last year. Had some nagging injuries, but he's healed up. He's 10, 12 pounds heavier than he was a year ago. I think he's pushing 205. And Major Ali, who came on like gangbusters late in the year when Ryan wasn't really at the top of his game. Those two guys will present, I think, give us a lot of an opportunity to have a two running back offense, which we've usually done in the past. When you go to defense, we lost some great players. We lost a great player by the name of Kyle Smith, who was did everything for us. In our minds, he was all world. He's a guy that overcame a lot of injuries and adversity in his career, and to lose a guy like that in the middle hurts. But we have Bomeyer, second team all-conference defensive lineman, Albaster Chia, who had a tremendous year last year for us, and those two guys are going to headline our defensive front. And guys like Peyton Sexy from here, CM Russell High School, Cole Graff out of Golden, Colorado, have to be great backups for us and get a chance to move into the starting position. David Peterson, who was redshirted last year, was an all-state player out of Capitol, is going to be pushing for a lot of playing time. The two inside backers, we're glad to have them back. Reese Quady and Mike. David Anderson had a heck of a year at Will Backer for us. And hopefully somebody else will step up alongside of them and step up and do so well. We had to get transferred from the University of Montana. Again, another CMR product, Alex Thomas, who came over. And Alex was a heck of an athlete at CMR and has kind of got lost in the four-man front over there at defensive end, be an outside backer for us. Our safeties, McBride Galt, as a sophomore, started all 10 games for us, and Tucker Johnson, probably the heart and soul of our defense in the back end. He was a starter in our dime package 2 years ago, started at free safety, led our team in tackles, and I think he finished in the top 4 or 5 in tackles in the conference. Just plays the game the way it's supposed to be played, so I'm looking for great things from him. And corners, it's going to be, you have to buy a program because we graduated 2 senior corners, and we got about 3 or 4 guys that are battling for that spot. And I know they're going to get tested early by number 13 at Montana Tech when we play them on August 31st, because that guy lit us up last year. So these guys got their work cut out for them when we go down into Butte. But that's going to be, where we have to really shore up things. One of the guys that people don't talk much about is the special teams, and I think we have a great punter in Dylan Torgerson. He led the conference in punting last year. He's also going to handle our place kicking duties this fall. He's been great. He could have done it last year and probably should have put him in there a little bit more. But he's done a great job. He's worked hard in the weight room. He looks like a football player now. He's not a skinny pencil neck. He's bulked up. He's over 200 pounds. And I think he's excited about his senior year, and he's done a great job. And I love being around the guy. He's got a lot of pizzazz about him. And that's something that, punting has the best average of any offensive play in the game. And he can average 42 yards a punt. Hopefully we don't have to do it a lot, but it gives us great field position. And have a good defense, we've got to have a very good punter, and we're excited about that. So thanks for coming out. Just a shout out to this guy over here, Jason Walker, Sportscaster of the Year in the United States. We're glad to have him here from Helena, and we appreciate that. Congratulations for being Sportscaster of the Year in Montana, Jason. Thank you.
What's that, a pencil neck? Is that what you call it? I love it. My name's Tim Camp. I'm the head football coach at Eastern Oregon University. Want to talk a little bit about what a special year in 2016. Every place I go, people want to talk about that team. Quite frankly, I want to tell you how excited I am to be in the great state of Montana. Based off of losing a 17-point lead with 3 minutes left, I wasn't sure I was going to get a chance to make it back. So again, this is a very special day for me to be back here. Our president and our athletic director, Angie Weisenflue, Tom Ensko, they believe greatly in Eastern Oregon football. And the one thing that we try and do each and every day is not only try and build football program, but build quality young men that come out of it. And I think that a lot of you guys have been in this room with me since 10 years ago. That's what we started with, and that's what we're going to continue with, is to try and build guys of character who just have a passion to play the game of football. So again, I appreciate all the help. These guys up here in front of you guys today, They're class acts of small college football. I always say small college football, but you wouldn't blink an eye if any of these guys were at Division I schools. A lot of them have been, because when you go out, it just kind of like what Mike said before, sometimes you could tell that somebody might not have watched your film. Okay, you could take advantage. These guys, watch your film every single week. So again, I'm with the best of the best, and I'm just fortunate to be a part of this Frontier Conference. Now, the 2016 team, again, very proud of those guys. I don't necessarily think that we were the best team or one of the best in the conference. I just think that these coaches up here and their teams provide us with a platform that will test you throughout the course of the year, and then once you get into playoffs, obviously you're battle tested. You can go out and perform well for the Frontier Conference and represent your school. So I can't think of any better advertisement that you can get than going and playing across the country, which we were able to do. But at the same time, the thing that I always come back to is, hey, let's talk about the 2017 team, because out of the 115 kids we had, we still had 93 of them in the locker room, okay, who had played a big-time role within our football program in those playoffs, and also through the season. Some of those guys, again, I'm going to start out with special teams because I coach the special teams. It's probably one of the few areas that the other coaches will have me do it. But at the same time, Calvin Connors, I really feel Calvin Connors is a kid that punt return, kickoff return, from a holding position, wherever you put this kid, he's also a slot for us. He can take it the distance. I think he's one of the best in the conference, if not one of the best in small college football. He's a Winnemucca kid. He tries to be Jace Billingsley every single day, and I think that in some aspects he might be a little bit better than Jace was in the return game. So that's a credit to him. Nathan Harden is our kicker. Nathan, he punts for us. He's very athletic. He also does all the kicking duties for us. I think he's probably one of the best in our conference, and we're very, very fortunate to have him as well. Offensively, a young man who came on really, really strong for us at the end of the season, about midway through the season, was Brendan Kelly, Southridge kid. Really, really good receiver for us. We 3 of our receivers went down late, and I'm telling you, this kid, people knew it was going to go to him, and still he made plays for us. So I'm looking for big things out of Brendan Kelly. Mick Wilson, offensive lineman, 6'5", 285, 290. Used to be an 8-man quarterback. That's why I continue to run 8-man camps. I'm going to find guys that, and I told him when I first met him, I said, you're going to be the next offensive line tackle at Eastern Oregon. He laughed at me. He started there for the last 2 years, so we'll be really good at the right tackle spot. I'm pretty excited because I used to play offensive line, and the cool thing about it now is when I first got to Eastern, we were all about 5'8", 5'9", about 280. It didn't look good in our uniforms, that type of guy. Actually, we actually have some guys that kind of look the part now. So pretty excited about that. You can line up and run the inside zone. You don't have to read everybody all the time to get yourself out of trouble. So I signed a couple 4-year transfer kids that are already at Eastern right now. Been working this summer. So I feel real good about that. We did lose Alfred Gross at the running back position, but we have 4 running backs coming back. The senior and sophomore and 2 redshirt freshmen who I feel real good about. Probably not the same. They all bring something just a little bit different to it, but sometimes I think that's not the worst thing in the world. I know they'll run the ball hard. The other, losing a quarterback is the other question I feel. It seems like every time I come up here, I'm always talking about replacing a quarterback. Well, because we have, with Chris Ware, and then we went right to Zach Barlow, who did a really good job. I didn't go out and get a junior college quarterback like everybody thought I would, but what I do have is I have 3 redshirt freshman quarterbacks in place right now that I think that are going to be able to do what I asked them to do offensively, which, it's as easy as put the ball where you're supposed to on time and in place, and let them guys who I think at the skill positions are playmakers that they can make plays. So really excited about the competition that's going to be in fall camp coming up here shortly at the quarterback position. Let's switch over to defense now. Zach Lacey, again, we got a lot of guys coming back that we rotated a lot of the defensive linemen, all right? So, and it was pretty exciting. And a lot of these guys had a chance to play into December all the time. That was the first time that we've had that opportunity. So we got a chance to roll a bunch of guys. So it's made it really, really good jumping into spring. that we can evolve our defense and what we do. And so now we're not just a flex team that people can pick our signals and all that. We can actually do more stuff. And to be able to do more stuff and give people the illusion that, hey, they're just that same old flex team. But with the knowledge that our guys have, I feel comfortable. Yeah, we lost a couple good defensive ends. We lost John Payne at a corner. We lost Jesus Rotano at a safety. But like I said, playing into December, we had a chance to play some guys in the back end. And I think we got some guys that have some good ball skills. I think we have some guys up front that can rush the passer. So I feel good about that. And then, I think with Jordan Payne, John's brother, playing the corner, I don't think that there's a lot of drop-off there. Now, he's going to get tested because he's 5'6". I mean, people are going to go at him. I promise you that. But at the same time, he's got a very, very big heart, and he plays very, very bigger than what he is. Mike Arenas, a linebacker from Winnemucca, Nevada. I think Mike is, again, we got a great group of linebackers in this conference, but I think Mike is a really, really good one, if not one of the best. So defensively, we have some holes to fill. I think we got some guys that we can put into position that can fill those holes. But at the same time, I'm so excited to go and play Southern Oregon. Coach, welcome to the conference. But at the same time, just the ability to take your team in state, a short 10 hours away to go play a college football game is pretty cool in my mind. Okay, I wouldn't want it any other way. Get the AA motor coach buses up there and let's roll. And I know every single coach up here is the same way. So. August 31st is when we go down to Southern Oregon to play them. It should be a great game. Every time we get with the Raiders, it's one of the best games in the conference. But I know that Tech and Carroll are going too. So, hey, wish us the best. Does anybody have any questions, or we say we're going to hold it to the end? Let's go ahead and hold that to the end. Thanks.
Aaron Christensen from MSU Northern. First of all, thanks. You get a media day like this for the Frontier Conference. It's good to see everybody coming out here and covering the conference and covering the football, because it is really good football. Also, thanks to Christian over there, Overquell, our athletic director, and Christy Pallone, our SID, and our chancellor, Chancellor Kegel. All those people help support our program. And when you get a microphone in front of people, you want to make sure you say thanks. So thanks to those guys, and thanks to our coaching staff. Those guys work real hard to make sure we have a successful season. So thanks to all those guys. Talk about our football team and where we're at. You got to start with where we're at the year before. Obviously, the season didn't go the way we wanted to. But I will say this, we were an improved team last year than we were the year before. We're improved in spring football, and we'll be improved in the fall. So our team and our program is definitely going in the right direction, and that's important, because you want to make sure you continue to improve, and that's where our football program needs to go. Kind of breaking down our offense and our defense. We'll start on the offensive side of the ball. We've got to start with the quarterback position. Our quarterback position is wide open right now. We got 4 guys who are in spring football. We're all vying for the position. Probably won't decide that until we get a little bit later into fall camp. But we got Holden Mackey, who's from Belt. He's been there with us for a while. We also have Tommy Wilson, who's transferred from California. Bryce Missy, who's a transfer from Washington State, and then we have Dylan Cook, who redshirted last year from Butte. Feel pretty comfortable with all those guys, so it's a good problem to have when you can't decide. So. Running back, we lost Zach McKinley, and Zach McKinley, I think he holds every rushing record there is at MSU Northern. So we got some big shoes to fill there. Our backup running back, Jeff Robertson from last year, he's coming back. We also have a redshirt, Trey Blanchard, who's competed in that spot. And then B.J. Peters from California, he was our third-string running back last year. He'll also be competed at that running back position. Tight end, we have our guy who's voted as captain, Kagan Kamene, coming back. He's played for us the last 2 years. He's a good athlete, good blocker. Expect to see good things from him. Jess Cron, who played a little bit of quarterback for us last year, we moved him over to tight end in the spring, and he seemed to be picking up pretty well. Jordan Hughes, another guy who played for us a lot last year. And then we have a guy who played fullback for a little bit last year, started the last game, Control Willingham, who's also coming back. So excited about that position. Got a little bit more experience there than most. Wide receiver, it's another spot we got some experience. We got our seniors. We got Donovan Garner and we got Bo Wilhelm. Both guys played a lot last year. We also have Sam Bix, and then we also have Seth Romilly, who are both going to be juniors. So all those guys have had a lot of playing time. Again, it's a spot where we've got to get a lot better in the passing game. Feel like we've got a little bit more experience on the receiving end. O-line, we have our captain, Clint Willis. Clint Willis has started for us last year. He's our left tackle. He's a guy we're definitely going to rely on. We have an O-line that has experience but isn't old, meaning we got, I think, 3 sophomores on that O-line who all played pretty much in every game last season, so they did get the game experience, which is important. You want to be young and experienced if you can. On defense, we have some guys to replace. I think we lost about 5 defensive linemen on that defense, so we'll start there. One guy we got to replace is Tyler Craig. Obviously, he's been a good football player for us the last couple of years. But the first guy is Elijah Dennison. Elijah Dennison was a D tackle for us last year. He started for us. We also have Mitchell Harmon, who's going to be a senior for us. He rotated in at defensive line, and obviously we're going to have a lot of guys competing for that spot too. Linebacker, we got our captain, Garrett Fowler. He was a captain for us last year. He's a guy we're definitely going to be relying on the defensive side of the ball, and right next to him is another linebacker who played every game last year, is Alec Wagner. So we got 2 good linebackers, and we have a lot of competition at those outside backer spots. But those 2 guys inside, they've played a lot for us. Defensive back, we got another captain, Corey Lee, voted by his teammates. He played corner for us. He's going to be a senior this year. We had a freshman last year, DeQuincy Bergen, from Billings, Montana, who played a lot for us last year. He's going to play safety. Morgan McCrary is another cornerback who played a lot for us last year. So on defense, we're a little bit younger, but we're going to have a lot of competition. So, and that's kind of what we're looking forward to in fall camp. You know, like I said, I feel like every year we're getting a little bit better and better, and you know, we just got to make sure we improve on what we did last year, for sure. Special teams, we have Tommy Langley coming back. He's our kicker. He had 2 school records last year. I think he had the long field goal for the school, 51 yards, and then he had the record for most field goals in the season last year by a kicker. So expect him to come back and do good things. Those are the guys we're going to be kind of counting on this year and leading us into the season. You know, we look forward to the challenge of the Frontier Conference and playing all these good teams week in, week out. You've got to be at your best, and we look forward to the challenge of playing our first game at Rocky on September 2nd. So thanks, and go Northern.
I'm Ryan Norris, head football coach at Montana Western, and this has become a really great it's been a really great event, and I just want to thank Commissioner Kent Paulson for organizing this and for everybody who comes out. It's really a first-class opportunity for us to come and get together and discuss items that need discussed, but also to kind of get the year started and get our information out to the media and provide our fans and all those who support our Frontier Conference teams the opportunity to see what our teams are, or at least have an opportunity to see what we think our teams are going to look like as we go in to camp. We're very excited for 2017 at Montana Western and in Dillon, Montana. We've had a great summer. Our leadership has been outstanding this year. Our captains, Jay Owens and Hunter Thompson, Donovan Huckey, and Riley Martello have provided really outstanding leadership for a lot of young football players who've stuck around Dillon and have worked tirelessly. And in talking to our guys, our team's very well prepared to come into camp. And I think most important is they're very excited to get the football season started. I believe the strength of our team, again this year, will be our defense and our run game. Our defensive coordinator, Rob Good, has done an outstanding job in I think this will be his 5th year as defense coordinator at Western. We have 2 senior defensive ends this year, Dustin Pickens and Adam Hansen, who had just great springs, outstanding off seasons, great summers, and we're really looking for big things out of those guys coming in to our defensive line. Those guys who played a lot of games and started a lot of games will be pretty young on the interior this year, but talented players. We have a solid secondary. I believe Zach Janice was a sophomore last year and had an excellent first year at corner. And then Jay Owens, Big Sky, Montana guy. He has been a 4-year starter for us and has been very solid back there and has provided a lot of great leadership for our young secondary players. Linebackers, I think we're going to be very strong at, again, this year. You know, we lose TJ Benson, I think, was just a fantastic football player. Just stick that kid out to the field, all 5'9", 150 pounds of him, and he's just a tackling machine. So we hope between 2 or 3 other guys, we have Christian Hanser out of Broadview. Levine will be a junior who had a great spring out there, and a redshirt freshman, Kate Estes, out of Drummond, Montana, who will compete for that job. Both very good football players, and they've got big shoes to fill, but I think they'll do a great job at that linebacker spot. Both our starters from last year, Michael Bennett, a senior, and Jason Ferris, who was a redshirt freshman last year out of Beaverhead County High School, will both be back. Jason had an incredible redshirt freshman year, and we're thinking he's going to have another one this year as a sophomore. He's got great football intelligence. He's had a great summer. He's worked very hard. I think he's gotten bigger. He's gotten faster. So hopefully we'll see more production out of him this year. Offensively, I think our strength lies on our offensive front and our run game. We have Donovan Huckey and John Munger both returning as starters this year. Seniors, been great leaders. John's a 5th-year player in our program, and Donovan's been a 3-year starter now. But we also have 3 other O-linemen who have started for us, played various minutes for us, so they've had game experience, had great springs, and are ready to go as well. We think we'll have a solid unit there. We returned Hunter Thompson at running back. You know, we lost Sam Rutherford. Sam was a wonderful football player at Western. He's our all-time leading rusher, holds most records, but Hunter's pretty good too. And he's a very powerful back and strong, and he's had an absolutely great off-season and outstanding summer, and he's very motivated and ready to play this year. So we expect big things out of Hunter, as well as J.D. Ferris comes back at quarterback. He started all 11 games for us last year. He had a solid spring, but senior Bennett Gibson and a redshirt freshman, Sean Miller, both had great springs as well. So we really had a steady line of competition at that position all the way through the entire spring, and it's still open. We're going to come into the fall, and we're going to see who the best guy is going to be at quarterback. We've got a solid wide receiver crew. George Sherwood will be a senior this year. George is also our punter, has worked incredibly hard. He's had a great spring again and provided a lot of leadership for a lot of young wide receivers who will be coming in and starting to play for us this year as well. Special teams-wise, we were very strong last year in our return game as well as our coverage game, and we'll be looking to improve steadily in our PAT field goal game, which was really the weak spot of our football team last year. We have 4 freshman kickers coming in. One of them will be able to make a PAT before fall camp is over. I'm serious about that. Okay. I want to thank Russ Richardson, our athletic director, for coming today, and Casey Parrott, our sports information director. These guys work tirelessly to help out all of our sports, but it's great to see their support today. Montana Western's an outstanding university. Beth Weatherby, our chancellor, is doing incredible things as a leader at our university and in our community, and I'm honored to be able to be the head football coach there. We really look forward to the challenge of the Frontier Conference season. It's a Bearcat, but it's awesome. I wouldn't want it any other way. You wake up on Sunday, and you know you got to go put your big boy pants on and get to work, and it's not like it is. That's not how it is every place in the country. So we're super fortunate here, and we're very excited for our home opener against a tough College of Idaho team on August 26th down there in Dillon, Montana. Wish everybody the best of luck on their season. Thank you.
I need to go buy some more big boy pants, Coach. My name is Charlie Hall, and it's my pleasure to represent Southern Oregon University here today as the head football coach and an alum, graduated in 1983. Also representing Matt Sayer, who I've heard some great things about today from the coaches and the people in the community here, what he's done in this conference and to move it forward. Also representing the community of Ashland, which I've been a resident now for 15 of the last 20 years. And just a great community, and to be able to get your first collegiate head coaching job and not move is pretty rare and unique. I've been the high school coach at Ashland High School the last 12 years. I got a chance to meet a lot of the coaches here that have come to Ashland and played and used our facilities during the Southern Oregon transition. I'm very grateful to the Frontier Conference from a program standpoint, because before Craig Howard was the head coach at Southern Oregon, we were a lost ship. We were looking for a conference. We were playing independent schedule and struggling, trying to find identity, trying to find credibility, trying to find value in a collegiate program in our community. And the combination of joining the Frontier Conference and Craig Howard coming to Southern Oregon 5 years ago made a big difference. Let's talk about Coach Howard. 6 months ago, a little over 6 months ago, we lost an amazing man, just an amazing coach, a connector with kids, just helped so many people with their careers, a father, husband, just a friend to many. And our community was shocked when that happened. And I've talked about this myself, in terms of how we talk to our players about preparation, and you just never know. Hopefully you're always prepared for the unexpected. And certainly I felt like I was, and when Matt asked me if I'd be interested, I was excited for that opportunity. However, Coach Howard's mantra was always, character, strength, and honor. And that was his theme coming into Southern Oregon and trying to turn the program around, teach those core values, have a program centered around that, and what were once Coach Howard's values are now Southern Oregon values, and that's a big part of our program. When I tried to get the job and when I took the job over, there were three things that I really wanted going forward, and that was stability, continuity, and calm in the face of tragedy. And it's a tough thing when you deal with a situation like that. Luckily, I was in the community, and I saw his good works, and I knew players. You have a great collegiate program when your high school coach hires 3 players off the national championship team to come and coach at your high school, and you know that they're a great fit with your kids, and they have that same character, strength, and honor in their own values, and they fit in so well. So I knew this was a great opportunity for me. With that same belief of continuity and stability, I attempted to keep all the coaches. Nobody should lose their job in this situation. So we do have the same coordinators moving forward coming to the season. I did lose a couple of coaches, and we replaced them. But for the most part, I know that Southern Oregon's been all about offense. Coach Foz, I think that's kind of his calling card. But as I look to the future this year, I think we're going to be a pretty good defensive team. And I've talked to our defense about that, and just pleased to kind of put that burden on their shoulders as well. So in terms of our defensive line-wise, and you're always strong when you're strong from the middle. Defensive line, we got a pretty good interior guy by the name of Sam Woods from Sacramento. He's a senior. He played a lot last year. Devin Gage, our middle linebacker. He's a senior linebacker, or junior linebacker from Salem, Oregon. And Keegan Lawrence is our free safety, and he's from Sherwood, Oregon. So those 3 guys at the middle are pretty good. We're not bad at all around the other areas because we have about 8 starters coming back on defense. So on the defensive ends, Sean Rogers from Portland, Armando Gauger from Atwater, California, are good defensive ends for us. Isaiah Carter, another top linebacker from Las Vegas. O'Shea Dunmore is another quality safety that has a lot of experience, did not play in 2016, but was part of the 2015 team. And then A.J. Cooper will be a returning corner. So I feel good about where we're at defensively. And that's not been the brand of Southern Oregon football in the past, but we are going to play to our strengths, and I hope that's going to be one of ours. Obviously, offensively, it's kind of been where Southern Oregon's kind of made a name for itself. A lot has to do with this kid right here, Tanner Trosin, quarterback from Folsom, California, in the Sacramento area. Led the team 2 years ago to the national championship, but was injured in the UC Davis game last year. Fortunately, he was able to get a medical red shirt, and so we have Tanner coming back. So that gives us a chance when that guy has a lot of experience and a lot of confidence coming into it. For a one-back offense or a spread offense like we are, we have amazing depth at running back, including Ray Vega, will be a junior, Greg Macklin. The fastest of the group is a senior, Austin May is a sophomore out of Honolulu, and Michael Roots is a freshman coming in for the first time into our program. We'll kind of look at where we're going to go and try to get all those guys on the field somehow. I know that we lost Matt Retzloff, been a big-time receiver in our program over the years, all-conference player, multiple years. It'll be tough finding a replacement for Matty, but Jason Shelley, Jordan Sewell are sophomore receivers, both with good speed and size that will be able to come in and fill in for us. What I'm going to do probably offensively this year is help with the tight ends. And I need to talk to Neil because I've been in the press box now for the last 32 of my 34 years of coaching and really not sure what to do on the sideline. So if I cross that line at one time, I hope I get a warning or something first. But that's going to be fun. But I'll be able to work with the offense and try to work with our tight end. And that's Ben Bachman. He's a senior that's been quite involved in our offense last year. The area we need some work in offensively will be the offensive line. Just a lot of question marks. Christmas Amua will be a senior. He's an All-American candidate. Was All-Conference last year. He'll be back, leading that anchoring that line with Tyler Cox and Dane Skrilloff, who also saw some playing time last year. We have quite a few two transfers that are in there and a couple of freshmen that will be battling for the other spots on the offensive line. I know we talked about the kicking game today, so we're fortunate to have a couple of returners in that area. Louis Deprez is our kicker. I think he's our punter, and Marcus Montano is our kicker. And I just want to give a shout out to Aldrich Rosas, who is currently with the New York Giants roster, was our kicker in 2014. So we wish him the best of luck. And again, it's my pleasure to be here. Look forward to the year. Tim, look forward to seeing you and the Mountaineers on August 31st.
I'm Jason Petrino, Rocky Mountain College. Just want to first and foremost just thank a lot of people. There's unbelievable amount of people that have been in my life that have helped me and get me to where I'm at today. I got to thank my wife first. She's been incredible. It's crazy when we leave, whether it's playing games or recruiting or getting on a bus on a Wednesday night to go play in Southern Oregon, so 10 hours doesn't seem that bad. But at the same time, the things that she does for us at home, taking care of our family, for sure. My dad, my parents, what they've done for me, the model they set, very, very blessed and thankful. And then the coaches that have influenced me, I'm just extremely blessed. And I said this last year at this time, I'm very, very fortunate to come back to Montana. We love it here. As I say, we, my family, and we're excited to be here. Also, I got to thank those that helped me, said yes and took a chance on me. And that's Bruce Parker, Jeff Malby who are here, and then also Dr. Bob Wilmuth. Just very blessed. A lot of things have happened in the 18 months since I've been hired and since I've been in Billings, Montana now. And the nice thing is there's been a lot of upward growth and trend. Obviously, the field turf's been phenomenal. When we got here after the first year, we knew that there were some things. We got hired in late, so we knew we had to do some major things in order to truly make an impact in this league. And one of the things we had to do was get out and recruit. And as I sit here and I listen to all these coaches talk and as they visit, and it's more and more depressing each one as you hear all the good players that they have coming back and everything else. And Tech hasn't even talked yet, so hopefully I'll be able to get myself back up. But for the most part, we're a completely different team than we were a year ago. Our strength last year, we had a great senior class. This year we have 10 seniors. And you bring in 45 freshmen that'll get and report on Friday. It just makes us completely different. And in that senior class, we have great kids that are blue-collar kids. Probably the best impact player out of that is our kicker, and that's Griff Ames, who will be a senior this year. Was very, very consistent, and we look forward to having him back in the kicking game. Offensively, one of those seniors also was a senior a year ago, and that was Jade Olson out of Malta. And Jade, unfortunately, had an injury, but was blessed enough to get back healthy, get a medical red shirt, and he'll come back, and he brings some stability to our offensive, especially in our offensive backfield. Jade, tremendous hard worker. He's come back. He's getting a second major, and we're very, very excited with where he's at. And hopefully, like he says right now, I just want to get hit, so I just can shake it completely off in terms of the injury. Joining him in the backfield, Sam Sparks played as a true freshman last year. We're expecting big things out of Sam, not just only in the running back position, but also in the return game. He had a couple of big returns for us a year ago. Sparks momentum in some of those games and helped us win a game doing that. At the tight end position, Brandon Mosley, somebody we returned back. He'll be a junior this coming fall. Started every game last year. Has came in last summer and joined us from CSU Pueblo, and was at Chapey College and came in, and he's had it better and better since he's been on our campus and gotten bigger, gotten stronger, and become a better blocker for sure. But between those are really the only returners. We have three returning starters. The other one is Justin Farnsworth, offensive lineman, and then after that, we're really, really young and inexperienced. And some of the things we had to do in recruiting is we went out, obviously we said the 45 freshmen, we brought about 10 kids in January, about half on offense, half on defense, and we've had some kids come in at positions, both running back and receivers, to try to improve our depth. We took some injuries there, and we found out pretty quickly we need to improve our depth. And from an offensive standpoint, we knew we had to increase our numbers at the offensive line position so that we could build depth and we could be able to practice, and then also we needed to get better in the skill position at receiver. The quarterback is still kind of up debate a little bit. We got a couple guys working it. One is Jacob Bakken. Jacob comes from Webo, played 8-man football, had a lot of success in high school, played a little bit sparingly. Before I got to Rocky, became the starter, started about 4 games at the end of the year after Chase went down, and was able to do some things, and you kind of saw some of the athleticism that he has. Very, very curious to see how he's developed as a passer here in this offseason and where he's at once we get back going for our first practice on Saturday. And then the other one's Brady Pickering. Brady Pickering, somebody who's been in the program 2-3 years now, comes from Florence, has his good days, has his bad days like us all, but at the same time we feel we have some competition there, but excited and curious to see where we're going to be at quarterback. Defensively, at one point in time we had 4 seniors at D-line. One of those got injured, and in his place was Ryder Rice, played as a redshirt freshman. But the other 3 were seniors, 2 of them being all-conference players. So big question mark in terms of where we're at D-line. Linebacker, where we have a little more stability, Chase Burleson returns as an all-conference player out of Webo as well. Chase is not the best athlete, but he's definitely got some of the best instincts I've seen as a linebacker. I'm definitely excited to see where he's at. The other linebacker that returns as a starter, that started every game, is Billy Williams out of Gillette, Wyoming. In the secondary, a lot of uncertainties there as well. The one stalemate that we do have is Keenan Fagan. Keenan Fagan came in as an offensive skill player, got moved over to safety, and started every game at safety for us last year. Had a very, very good year, made some impact plays, not only in defensively but also in special teams as well. And then at corner, we'll have 1 starter back in terms of the other position, and then after that, we were able to, in January, have 2 guys join us, safety and a corner, and we're really, really excited with what the development was over the spring, and excited to see where they're at come August. Like I said, we're really excited, though. I will say one thing, the 18 months, the greatest thing about going into August now is our kids already know what to expect. They know how to practice. They know what their expectations are in meetings. They know what they can expect from us coaches. I got to thank my staff as well. They busted their butts all summer long, both in recruiting and then through spring and then in the summer. Just tried to help and get our guys moving along. And really the big question will be how quickly we can get some of our incoming freshmen and transfers acclimated as quickly as possible in terms of terminology and getting them to play as fast as possible, because we do have a quick turnaround. It's crazy to say, but we'll only have 18 practices before our first game, and so it happens fast. We'll play Thursday night at Dickinson, and we're excited. Dickinson is a playoff team, so we'll find out pretty quickly where we're at and how we match up. And then obviously once we get into our league, there's plenty of talent in this league, and every week's going to be a challenge. So I appreciate everybody for coming. Thank you for being here. Excited. Thank you, Kent, and look forward to having what happens this fall. Thanks.
My name is Chuck Morrell. I'm the head football coach here at Montana Tech. I want to start out by also thanking a few people. First of all, our chancellor, Don Blackadder, is an absolute leader for the Frontier Conference in respects to a lot of things that are going on athletically. He's extremely supportive. Also, I want to thank our athletic director, which if you look on the website, it's me, but in all reality, it's my wife, Jen. She is awesome. She puts up with a lot of stuff. We've been 20 years, my 20th year of coaching college football. We've been together for all 20, and she is absolutely incredible. Also, staff-wise, for me here today, Assistant Athletic Director Nick Bauscher, and also my other Assistant Athletic Director, Matt Stepp, and we couldn't do what we do without those people. I had a piece of paper. I wrote down one thing on a piece of paper to remember, and that is to thank my assistant coaches. My assistant coaches are incredible. I'm blessed to have them. The continuity of having all the same guys back for the last several years now has been a tremendous asset for us. And I think as competitive as our league is and how good all the head coaches are, I have a lot of respect for all the assistant coaches in this league. They are unbelievable. I mean, schematically, I know some of the coaches have talked about it every single week. I turn on the film and I'm like, wow, that offensive coordinator or that defensive coordinator or that special teams coordinator is doing an incredible job. So definitely a shout out to how well our kids get coached in our league. A little bit about us, obviously, I've had coming off a couple of decent years here these last 2 years. We do have a lot of guys coming back for this season. Everything runs for us on offensively through one guy, and that's Quinn McQuarrie. Be our third-year starter, and I think he's incredible. I mean, he's been one of the most dynamic offensive players in our league, definitely the most competitive, one of the most competitive young men I have ever coached in my life, and he wants to win worse than anybody. And when that's your leader and that guy's touching the ball every single time, that's pretty exciting. So we're excited to have him back again and some strong leadership from that position. Offensive line-wise, we also returned a number of guys. We have 4 of our 5 starters. In fact, 7 of our top 8 offensive linemen are back. We only lose 1 starter on our offensive line from a year ago. Wide receiver core is also another strong area for us. Have a number of our starters back. We play a lot of guys. We talk about depth. In fact, in our staff meetings all the time, we rarely talk about the starters. I tell my coaches all the time, everybody that's up here today has great starters. Tell me who the number 2 is. Tell me who the number 3 guy is. Because in this league, the guys that are number 2 and number 3 are going to have to help you win games. So we have played a tremendous number of guys at wide receiver. Obviously going to be led by Deion Williams. Deion had a fantastic year a year ago for us, but we have a number of other guys in our wide receiving core that I'm very, very excited about. Obviously, we lose the offensive player of the year last year, Nolan Saraceni, obviously an incredible force in this league for the last few years. But actually, as we look at our depth chart today, we feel like running back might be our deepest spot. We've got a number of guys in there. A lot of them are young, but I have very high faith in those guys can execute the scheme, and obviously Quinn can take some pressure off of those guys. Defensively, we return up front, D-line-wise. Again, we play a lot of guys up front. We're returning 7 of our top 8 defensive linemen from a year ago, which is always a benefit for us. Ty Sanders, Helena Capital, be a 4-year starter for us. The thing I love about Ty is he will outwork everybody. He's so competitive and has tremendous leadership, tremendous work ethic, is always the guy that's always in the best shape all the time, and he's a very good football player. So things will be kind of dictated up front by him. In the back half, secondary-wise, we're going to have a couple of new pieces back there, but Andre Brown from Los Angeles, California, is an incredibly competitive young man, very good corner, first-team all-conference player from a year ago, and he'll hold up things on the back end for us. At linebacker, again, another area where we've played quite a few different guys. Connor Wines will be anchoring our strong side linebacker, which is exciting because he's got a ton of experience right now, and we feel like we have good depth at our linebacking core. In our special teams game, I should mention Derek Holt, our kicker, 5th-year senior, true leader on our team, great punter, great kicker, and it's exciting to have him back in the fold as well. So proud to represent, last thing I'll say is I'm proud to represent the community of Butte, Montana. Butte, America is a special place. We look forward to having a great game August 31st. I'm very appreciative of Carroll College and Coach Van Diest agreeing to play. I think we're going to have, if you love small college football, I don't know where else you'd want to be on that day. The environment's going to be incredible. Coach is going to have his team ready to go. We're going to be ready to go, and you're going to see small college football at its absolute finest on that day. So with that, I appreciate everything. Kent, turn it back over to you or Wally.
And we'll close the media day with the coaches' poll. The coaches vote. They're not allowed to vote for their own team. And the coaches for this upcoming season select defending champions Montana Tech, 47 total points. Second to Eastern Oregon, 36 points. Then we have a tie between Southern Oregon and Carroll College, each receiving 33 points, followed by Montana Western, 27 points. Then College of Idaho and Rocky Mountain tied with 17 points apiece. And then MSU Northern with 9. But as Chuck said last year, who knows? So that concludes our media day. I want to thank everybody for coming. And
did that when we were in college,
You
too.
stay up here.
Oh.
Yeah. We went to college together. Wally's older than me. I just wanted to close today. First of all, thanks again to all of our coaches and the great synopsis of their teams and prognosis for the coming year. I wanted to mention two things. One, Wally Felt, thank him for organizing our SID meetings today. And Wally is our conference's nominee for the NAI SID of the year. And I also want to recognize Bruce Parker. We mentioned our athletic directors and thanking them for being in attendance. Bruce Parker is the Frontier Conference's nominee for the NAI Athletic Director of the Year. So two strong candidates. And again, thank you